It is being termed The Rise. It is Australia's former world champion Tszyu, who takes on an undefeated fighter, the world number 12 in Denis Nurja. That is your main fight, but a stacked undercard, as you can see, and you'll see all of those fights this Sunday on Fox Sports and on Main Event. I'll talk firstly to the promoter of this event before we talk to the fighters and get up to the top table to talk to the main event combatants. It is George Rose who joins us up in the middle of the top table. George, just have a look around. It's quite a bit of talent we have here at these couple of tables. You must be excited about Easter Sunday this year.
Yeah, look, it's a hell of a card that we've put together here. Really excited to be heading back to Wollongong. We've only been to Wollongong 3 times in the past, and every time we've had something special. We've had some big knockout finishes, some big upsets, and we've put together a card that every fighter on this card has got a really tough challenge ahead of them, and it gives them that opportunity to create something special for themselves in Wollongong, and they're going to have to, because this is Tszyu's 30th pro fight, his first time fighting in Wollongong, and I'm expecting something big from Tszyu this weekend on Easter Sunday.
You've taken some risks throughout your promotional time. Are there any fears about what is going on this Sunday, given what is being talked about as next for Tszyu? When you look to your right, do you have concerns about Denis Nurja?
Look, every fight is a risk, but I got every faith in every one of my fighters. I know that Tszyu is without a doubt one of the best in the world, and I know that he can show that. He is coming up against a very tough opponent, and most people don't take these sort of difficult fights. You know, coming off a world title loss, Tszyu has then gone into 2 undefeated opponents. This guy is undefeated. 20 times he's stepped into the ring in 7 countries, and every time he's stepped in, no matter what's gone wrong in them fights, he's walked away as a winner. He doesn't know what defeat feels like. So he walks into this ring with every bit of confidence on Easter Sunday, but he's coming up against Tszyu, and Tszyu is the guy in this division who's going to take it to the next level.
George, can you do us a favour and end the speculation? Can you confirm that if Tszyu wins this fight, he fights against Errol Spence? It's been talked about right around the world that that is what is next for Tszyu with a victory. Can you confirm that for us here today?
There's big fights ahead for Tszyu on the back of this, without a doubt. Errol Spence is a guy that I'd love to make that fight happen. There's guys like Jamel Charlo, Keith Thurman just fought on the weekend. There's fights that we can make happen that are really special fights on the back end of this, but you don't want to talk about that because this guy's ranked number 12 by the WBA. You don't get that from being a bum. You know, this guy's a very, very good fighter. So you don't want to look past that. I know that you love to talk about what's happening in the future, but what's happening on Easter Sunday is Tszyu is fighting a world-rated fighter in Wollongong.
Just blink twice if it's done, George. All right, well, we'll wait and see exactly what does happen. What do you think happens? You will have looked at this main event. Of course, you know about Denis Nurja. You know about Tszyu. How do you think this fight finishes?
Man, I love Tszyu. I think Tszyu beats everybody in the world. But this fight in particular is one where he's in the second camp with his new team. I think he'll only be better for it. We saw a lot from him in his last fight. Another camp with the new team, I think we'll see him grow again. And it's exciting to know that coming into his 30th fight, we are going to see new things from Tszyu. Tszyu's already been a guy that we've all been on the journey for, that he's had so many great fights over his career to get to this point. The fact that he's still got more growth in him and more to give and more to offer, I think that's exciting for all of us and a good reason for us all to tune in and see what Tim can bring. Because like I said, I'm expecting something special. It's Easter Sunday. Timmy's bringing the chockies on Easter Sunday in Wollongong.
We've got the heavyweights as well. Nelson Asava Solomona is in action against Jared Wallace. We're all excited to see what happens in that heavyweight contest. What do you think happens, George?
No, well, look, I was stoked about how Nelson performed in his first fight. He was big, he was powerful, he gave us a knockout. That's what we want to see from our heavyweights. These 2 guys have fought before. You know, Jared's had over 200 games in the NRL. He's been against some of the toughest guys in rugby league, so he's never taken a backward step. And these 2 guys fought before in an exhibition match. Now, an exhibition match in boxing is a little bit like a training try in rugby league. They don't matter. I scored over 347 trainer tries in my career. That's more than Alex Johnson. I did not get a statue for that. You don't get statues for training tries, and exhibition matches don't matter. What matters is what happens for these guys on Sunday.
Tell us about Sam Goodman. He's the king of Wollongong. He's going back home this Sunday, which will be a big occasion for him, made even bigger by the fact that it is a world title eliminator against Rodrigo Ruiz, who joins us from Argentina.
Yeah, look, and Sam Goodman's back at his natural weight. Sam's had a very unlucky 12, 18 months between the injuries and then the, having his first defeat in the world title shot in a heavier weight, mind you. He's now back at his weight where 21 times he's been undefeated at this weight. 21 times he's shown that he's one of the best guys in the division, and this is a huge opportunity for him to get back to what we remember Sam Goodman was like at this weight, because Inoue might be at the top of the tree in this one. If Inoue wasn't the undisputed champ, this is the type of fight that would be for a world title. He's got a very, very tough opponent who is world title caliber as well. But Sam Goodman, this is his hometown. This is his hometown. The Mad Bunch will be there, and I think it's a really good opportunity, not only for Sam Goodman to step up and remind everyone what he can do, but for the Mad Bunch to step up and remind everybody what they bring to the Wollongong Entertainment Centre. I think it'll be a fantastic day down there on Easter Sunday, and I think it's a good opportunity for Sam to really step it up again. This is a fight that I think it'll be one of the most entertaining fights that we've seen from Sam Goodman. He had a fantastic performance down there against Mark Schliebs where he stopped him in a very exciting match. This could be one of them ones where he's pushed to that point where he makes that happen again.
And I know you're excited about Callum Peters and Paulo Acuso, both of them fighting against big punches in their fights this Sunday.
Yeah, you're talking about the two best rising stars in Australian boxing. Callum Peters in only his sixth professional fight, taking on a very tough one. This one will be exciting. This is one of them fights where both of the fighters, they really press the pace. If you haven't seen Callum fight, that's the type of fighter he is. He's very high intensity, very high action, but his opponent is going to be as well. So this will be the one that I think this might even break CompuBox. They're going to break the system with the amount of punches that these boys will be throwing. So look forward to that fight. And it's also a huge opportunity for Paulo, because I think he's the best light heavyweight in the country. This is a chance for him to put everybody else on notice, because I know everybody else is talking and I know that he wants a piece of them. So this is his chance to make a big statement in a very, very tough fight, to really put them on notice and see what can happen in the later stages of the year, because this whole card, everybody's got a really tough challenge in front of them, but it'll open the door for a big year.
George, finally, best place to watch it, of course, is on Main Event in front of the television on the lounge. But if you can get to Wollongong this Sunday, are there any tickets?
Yeah, look, head to ticketmaster.com or follow the nolimitboxing.com.au website if you're not registered already. Check out that, ticketmaster.com, get your tickets, head down, watch it all live in Wynn Entertainment Centre. If you can't be there, watch it on Main Event and KO Sports.
Tszyu against the undefeated world number 12 in Denis Nurja from Albania. His translator does join us here today as well, so I'll start by talking to Denis and to Adelie, who has joined us to translate. Firstly, welcome to Australia to Denis. How has he enjoyed his time here in this country so far?
Ai tha, mirë pritur këtu në Australi dhe si po kalon në kohët që ke kaluar këtu në Australi.
Përshëndetje të gjithëve. Jam shumë i mirë pritur këtu në Australi. Jam i lumtur për mikpritjen që më kanë bë dhe ndjehem shumë mirë. Ndjehem shumë mirë.
He said, hello everyone, and thank you for coming out. He has really enjoyed his time here in Australia. He feels so welcome. He's been very welcomed by the organisation and how everything is run, and he's just really, really glad to be here.
And clearly he comes here to win. How does he think he wins this fight against Tszyu?
Ti ke ardhur këtu për të fituar, për të fituar, më fal. Edhe I tha, si e ndjen veten? Sorry, can you repeat the question?
How does he think he wins?
Si e ke planën për të fituar?
Po, normal, jam I përgatit shumë për këndeshje. Vlerësoj shumë Tszyu. Është një boksier shumë I fortë, por si çdo sportist, boksier që I ka hije duhet t'japi maksimumin, edhe unë këtu kam ardhur vetëm për të fituar.
He said he's trained really hard to be here and he has a lot of respect for Tim. He values him as a fighter, but obviously he's been putting in the work behind the scenes and he's actually come here to win.
Does he feel disrespected by all the talk about Tim's next opponent potentially being Errol Spence?
Këtë është pyetjen që kemi folur. Nëse Tim fiton, ai ka tjetër ndjeshën me Errolin. Si e ndjen vete për këtë? E ndjen veten që je nënvlerësuar sepse njerëz kanë filluar për të flasur për atë?
Nuk e kam problem se njerëzit flasin, mund të flasin çfarë duan. Jam mësuar me fjalët e njerëzve, jam I bind me veten time që kam ardhur për me fitu.
So he said he's used to people talking, people will always talk, and he doesn't really care what people have to say because he's based here in the present, and we're going to see what happens on Sunday.
And should he win this fight, what does that mean for him in his life and his boxing career?
Edhe nëse ti fiton, ç'do të thënë këtë për jetën tënd, për karrierin tënd, ç'vlerë ka?
Kjo fitore është një hap shumë i madh për karrierën time, për jetën time. Është shpërblim i gjithë këtyre kohave, viteve që kam bë stërvitje, edhe shpresoj do e fitojmë edhe do jap maksimumin, do jap më të mirën.
He said that the win would be a massive step in his life, in his career. It would be the culmination of 20 years of training, 20 years of sacrifice, sacrifice to his life and the effort that he's put in. And it would be such a gift for him. So he's really gunning for a win on Sunday because it would just mean so much to him.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Adelie, as well, for translating Denis Nurja from Albania. And now we head to Australia's former world champion in Tszyu, who is here for this big fight, his 30th professional fight this Easter Sunday. Tim, how does it feel? They're calling it the rise. Is that what it feels like you're coming back to the top?
It's good to be back, that's for sure. It's good to be back home. Thank you to everyone to making this event possible. It's a pleasure to be on such a stacked undercard with so many familiar faces and crazy talent underneath me. Yeah, it is the rise. I feel like I did fall apart. I am putting the wheels back in motion, and I'm gunning straight back to that number one spot. And whoever is in the way of that, they're in danger. So the next guy in front of me is this guy. I'm looking forward to the opportunity. I know what he possesses, what he brings. Another undefeated, yes. And I'm just looking to put my work into action.
We know you've been working hard, and we know it's a work in progress with your new team. What changes should we expect from last time we saw you?
Yeah, I think there's obviously each training camp you wanna bring out something new, something different. You wanna learn something that you haven't previously brought into the ring. So yeah, I think stylistically be a bit more smarter. I feel like I've got natural talent that I possess. Also, a lot of skills that I've developed over the years. So yeah, I'm just looking to get in there. Stay active and just have some fun. This is what it's all about. When you put passion and love for a certain thing and you put it all into action, amazing things happen. And Saturday night in the US, magic will happen again once and again.
Yeah, this fight is live in Australia, of course, and in the United States. There are comments from around the world that maybe your time is done as a top-level professional, as a potential world champion. Do you feel you've got a point to prove against a lot of people this Sunday?
Oh, look, everyone's going to have something to say at certain times. It's just part of being in the spotlight, being up in a certain level. But yeah, I'm not there to prove to anyone. I know what I possess, I know what I'm good at, and I just can't wait to get in there against another undefeated opponent and have some fun.
What do you think of Denis Nurja? You watched him the other day. I'm sure you've seen some of his fights as well. What is going to be in front of you on Sunday?
I think he's good. I think he's 20-0 for a reason. What is European level, 6 times national champion. I know he's been watching my Buckram fight. I know all of them, they watch the Buckram fight. Even the last opponent, they watch the Buckram fight. I sleep. When I go to sleep, I sleep with my right hand on my chin. That left hook's not coming. So as much as he's practicing his left hook, don't worry, my right hand is here. And I'm very well aware that that's what they're thinking and that's what they're practicing. Oh, the Buckram left hook, that's Tim's kryptonite. Watch. Sunday, we see.
We know that you've taken risks before, sometimes successfully, sometimes unsuccessfully. This is no doubt another risk because we know what is meant to be next, this Errol Spence fight that is talked about a lot. How do you feel about taking another huge risk this Sunday?
Well, that's what I always do, man. I always just put it all on the line. And I'm just confident in myself. So look, of course everything's a risk, but you got to put it all on the line. We're in this sport for a short, minimal amount of time, and you just got to make the most of every opportunity. You know, I'm gonna change myself to a certain extent, but I just can't wait to get in there and bang on and let the dog come out.
Fantastic. A great way to finish it. That is your main event, Tszyu and Denis Nurja. We're going to face off these two main event fighters up at the top table with our promoter, George Rose, in between them. So, Denis, if you'd like to join Tim and face off. Yeah, let's have a round of applause for all of the fighters who have joined us here today ahead of this stacked card that you'll see on main events this Easter Sunday. It is Australia's former world champion Tszyu and the undefeated Denis Nurja